Maryland State Senator Dahlia Attar has been indicted on federal extortion and conspiracy charges, along with her brother and Baltimore City police officer Kalman Finkelstein. The investigation dates back to 2020.
According to court documents, Senator Attar recruited the two other men to break into her former political consultant's house and set up cameras to record the consultant having an affair. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kai Jackson.
And I'm Maxine Stryker. Senator Attar denies any wrongdoing. She was just appointed to the Senate by members of her own party to fill a vacancy in January after serving more than 6 years as a state delegate.
And tonight, the appointment process is under scrutiny following this latest indictment. Fox 45's Jeff Abel has that story in a moment.
Our team coverage begins, though, with Mackenzie Frost detailing the indictment and the response from Senator Attar.
Dahlia Attar, her brother, and a Baltimore police officer are all facing these charges. Federal prosecutors say this blackmail scheme surrounded keeping someone quiet during Attar's 2022 re-election effort. Now her political future is in question.
Shocking new details outlined in this newly unsealed federal indictment. Tracking devices on vehicles, recording someone in bed having an affair, all part of the alleged conspiracy and extortion scheme. Prosecutors say Baltimore City State Senator Dahlia Attar, her brother Joseph Attar, and Baltimore City police officer Kalman Finkelstein were involved in. Prosecutors say it dates back to 2020. Attar, her brother, and Finkelstein allegedly put a tracking device on a political consultant's vehicle, secretly filmed her in bed having an affair with a married man, and then threatened to expose the video. Prosecutors also allege the trio threatened to interfere with matchmaking for the woman's daughter. The indictment includes transcripts of text messages between Attar, her brother Joseph, and Finkelstein. Attar allegedly told the group the video of the woman in bed with the married man could be the perfect way to scare her.
All right, let's pause for a minute because we got to get to know the individual that's involved in this type of behavior, right? So this is Dahlia Attar. She's an attorney from Maryland. She actually announced that she would run for the Maryland House of Delegates back in 2017. During the primary, she ran on a platform of spurring development, improving schools, and reforming the juvenile justice system. You know, the promises that the politicians make when they're campaigning, right? She was sworn into the Maryland House of Delegates on January 9th, 2019. She's the first Orthodox Jew elected to the Maryland General Assembly and the highest ranking Orthodox Jewish woman in American history. Let's keep that in mind because that's an important part of the puzzle here. Attar served on the Environment and Transportation Committee from 2019 to 2020, afterwards serving as a member of the Ways and Means Committee until 2025. In January 2025, after State Senator Jill Carter resigned following her nomination to the Maryland State Board of Contract Appeals, Attar then applied to fill the remainder of Carter's term in the Maryland State Senate. The Baltimore City Democratic Central Committee voted 5-3 to nominate Attar to the seat later that month. She was then appointed to the seat by Governor Wes Moore. So this is the individual that's involved in a blackmail and extortion scheme. Let's continue.
Attar was worried the consultant would send out mailers to the Jewish community, focusing on her voting record. "We have a way that could potentially stop her. Why not at least try?" Attar allegedly wrote. The indictment says in December 2021, Joseph Attar reached out to the man involved with the consultant and met up with him at the Green Spring Shopping Center in Pikesville. Attar's brother allegedly told the man, "I have hours of you in bed," with the consultant telling him to "don't bring Attar up anymore to anyone. Stay out of this election." Prosecutors allege Attar's brother then threatened to share the video. According to Baltimore police, Finkelstein was actually suspended with pay back in 2022.
Okay, hold on, because we got to get all the players that's involved in this, right? So this is Officer Kalman Finkelstein, the Baltimore City police officer. According to reports, he was placed on administrative duties back in 2022, pending the outcome of the federal investigation that has now led to this indictment. Also, according to online records, there was a involvement in a 2021 car crash. It says that he ran a red light while in his patrol car without the proper use of its siren or emergency lights. Pretty sure y'all have seen stories like that before, right? At the intersection of North Carolina Street and East Baltimore Street, Finkelstein collided with a civilian car. So he was not on duty, driving a police cruiser, ran into some individuals in the car because he ran a red light. Just this past May, the city paid just under $400,000 to 3 teenagers who were seriously involved in the crash. So it's not too far-fetched that an individual involved in stuff like that could potentially be involved in some sort of extortion plot. I'm just saying, but let's continue.
Pending the outcome of this investigation.
We've worked with the authorities since 2022 with what they needed.
Thursday afternoon, BPD says Finkelstein has now been suspended without pay. Attar was pushing back on the charges and says she looks forward to sharing her side of the story. Her statement says the case centers on the allegations of my former disgruntled employee, adding, "We have yet to see any tangible evidence to support the claim that I knew of any illegal actions taken on my behalf." Attar was first elected to the Maryland House of Delegates in 2018. In 2025, Governor Wes Moore appointed Attar to the state Senate, filling a vacancy left by Jill Carter.
Surprised it was this particular delegate, and the charges are absolutely awful in a lot of ways.
Political analyst John Deedy says Attar's future is in limbo since she's already facing a primary challenge from current state delegate Malcolm Ruff.
It's going to be a lot easier today to run for that Senate seat, no matter what happens with these charges.
Attar beat out Ruff for the vacant Senate seat during the Democratic Central Committee nomination process before Governor Moore signed off.
Attar's attorney, Jeff Ifrah, posted a statement Thursday afternoon attacking the consultant involved in this case. Ifrah says the case is based on unstable, vindictive woman in the Baltimore Jewish community who was fired from Senator Attar's first campaign for cause. Ifrah says he looks forward to resolving this case before trial, but is prepared to fight the charges if necessary.
All right, there you have it. We're going to get into the full report, and we're going to make sure we got all the players involved, from Attar, her brother, and the officer, right? So, according to the reports, right, she was charged, Senator Dahlia Attar was charged in a federal indictment unsealed Thursday that involves her brother Joseph Attar, Calvin Finkelstein, a Baltimore police officer who worked on her campaign. They're saying it's alleged that the group conspired to silence a former consultant by making public a video of her in bed with a married man. This consultant is the one that assisted her on that campaign for the House of Delegates a few years ago, right? The purpose of the conspiracy was to obtain evidence that could be used to prevent the former consultant from saying negative things about the lawmaker's campaign. According to the indictment, there were secret recordings of Attar's former political consultant in bed with a married man with recording devices disguised as smoke detectors. Oh, they went all out, huh? The consultant was staying at the time at an apartment owned by Finkelstein's family. So the consultant, unbeknownst to her, was staying at a house owned by the officer's family. He set up some cameras allegedly in the smoke detectors to use that as evidence to silence her. The recording was intended to be used to potentially harm matchmaking efforts for the consultant's daughter. She wants her daughter's, quote, this is a quote from Dahlia Attar in a message that was sent on WhatsApp. She wants her daughters to get married more than she wants to screw me. So she's basically saying, like, you want your daughter to get married, you want that more than you want to take me down or say anything negatively about me. And I'm assuming that because in the Jewish community, they're all, somehow involved in the Jewish community. I think she's self-proclaimed. I think Finkelstein, that sounds like that type of name. And the brother obviously is Jewish, and the consultant. So I guess within that community, some sort of shame could be brought upon you if it's brought to light that you're sleeping with a married man, right? So her daughter's potential husband, fiance, their family may not be too fond of the mom involved in something like this, right? So it says Dahlia Attar apparently had a falling out with the consultant, prompting her concerns about future comments about her campaign, but the indictment doesn't provide any details about the break. So they had like some sort of falling out, and Athalia got concerned that she might, leak some information about the campaign. What type of information though? Like, were you doing something you didn't have no business doing? Like, what's going on here? In January 2020, Dahlia Attar sent a series of WhatsApp messages to a co-conspirator saying that 2 years later, the consultant is still looking to screw me badly. The indictment says that Joseph Attar went to the man who the consultant was recorded sleeping with to share the message, "Leave Dahlia alone." So the brother was like, y'all seen that TV show House of Cards? Remember Frank Underwood? He was running for office and he was trying to climb up the political ranks, and he had his boy Doug Stamper. Doug Stamper was like the fixer, the cleaner. Any sort of dirt or somebody trying to bring some dirt on Frank's name, Doug would step in, clean that right on up. That appears to be what Joseph was for Dahlia. I mean, the brother was going all out, man, putting tracking devices on cars and shit. He also said, "Don't bring her up anymore to anyone. Stay out of this election, the delegate election, and make sure she doesn't do anything against Dahlia throughout this election." What else? What else we got here? Dahlia Attar, as I mentioned earlier, is the first Orthodox Jewish woman to serve in the Maryland State Senate. So again, that is a very high accomplishment within her community, I'm assuming. She has been charged in the 8-count indictment with multiple counts of conspiracy, extortion via interstate communications, aiding and abetting, interception, and disclosure of a wire. The indictment also says that she conspired with her brother and Finkelstein to prevent the consultant from communicating to members of the Orthodox Jewish community in her district about her voting record. If the consultant did not refrain from commenting about the election, Joseph Attar allegedly told the man that she was sleeping with, "I'll share this video with everybody you know, everyone she knows, every rabbi in town, your kids, your wife, her daughters." Man, they was really trying to silence this lady. Like, and it makes you wonder, like, what type of things were going on within that initial primary or that campaign that you don't want any light to be shed on. Clearly, it's something that may have been some illegal activities, allegedly, but to go through these lengths to silence someone, to put a tracking device on their car, cameras and smoke detectors, it's something funny going on. But I'm assuming all of this, everything will come out, once the investigation has completed. I'm pretty sure some people are going to take some plea deals. Maybe the officer might, cooperate. You know how this goes. So, y'all let me know in the comments how y'all feel about what you already feel about politics in general and some of the things that go on within that world that, a lot of us may not be privy to, but what's done in the dark always comes out in the light. I'm just saying, what's done in the dark, it always comes out in the light. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think, man. And I appreciate y'all once again for rocking with me. Please subscribe to the channel. Please continue to share the videos. And man, when art imitates life, ain't that what they say?